Welcome everybody to a What's Flying Our Skies video. As you can see, we're just over a portion of the United Kingdom. There's not that much traffic around at the moment, so let's get on with the first one, shall we? So first up, we have an Air Transat Airbus A330-200, which is just coming from Montreal and is going over to Athens. Next one we have is a Lufthansa Airbus A340-600 from Mexico City to Munich. Next up is another Air Transat A330, but this time another Air Transat A330-200, sorry. And this one's also coming in from Montreal, but this time this one is heading over to Tel Aviv. So next one we have is an Atlas Air 767-300 from Hainan to Baltimore. The next one we have is a Ryanair 737-800 from Corfu to Manchester. Sorry about that. Next up, we have an Emirates 777-300ER from Orlando to Dubai. We have a UPS 767-300 from Cologne to Newark. We have a Jet 2 737-800 from Paphos to Edinburgh. We have a Jet 2 Holidays 737-800 from Heraklion to Glasgow. We have a Thomas Cook A321 from Glasgow to Unknown. We have a United Boeing 777-300 from Tel Aviv to Newark. We have an Etihad Boeing 777-300ER from Chicago to Abu Dhabi. We have a Premier Air Nordic 737-800 from Alicante to Keflavik. We have a Emirates 777-300ER from Dallas to Dubai. We have a Delta Boeing 767 from Detroit to Paris. We have a WOW Air A320 from Alicante to Keflavik. We have another Delta 767 from New York JFK to Amsterdam. We have a Air France 777-300 from New York to Paris. We have a KLM A330-200 from Minneapolis to Amsterdam. We have a Delta 767 from Atlanta to Paris. We have a Delta A330-300 from Atlanta to Amsterdam. KLM 787-9 from Toronto to Amsterdam. SAS A330-300 from Boston to Copenhagen. Cargolux 747-400 from Indianapolis to Luxembourg. We have a American A330-200 from Charlotte to Paris. We have a KLM 747-400 from Chicago to Amsterdam. We have an Air Canada Rouge 767 from Toronto to Athens. We have a United 757-200 from Newark to London Heathrow. We have a British Airways 777-200 from Newark to London Heathrow. We have a Brussels A330-300 from Toronto to Brussels. We have an SAS A340-300 from Washington to Copenhagen. We have a Virgin Atlantic A330-300 from New York JFK to London Heathrow. We have a Lufthansa in the Star Alliance livery A340-300 from Philadelphia to Frankfurt. We have a Lufthansa 747-800 from Newark to Frankfurt. Aero Mexico 787 from London Heathrow to Mexico City. Delta 767 from Boston to Paris. Virgin Atlantic 747-400 from Orlando to London Gatwick. Air Canada A330-300 from Montreal to Brussels. Air France A380 from Washington to Paris. British Airways 747-400 from Washington to London Heathrow. Delta 767 in the BCRF livery, which is going from Atlanta to Stuttgart. Delta 767 from Indianapolis to Paris. Qatar Cargo 777 freighter from Chicago to Milan. American A330-200 from Philadelphia to Frankfurt. Air France 777-300ER from Houston to Paris. Norwegian 787 from Paris Orly to Newark. Iceland Air 757 from Halifax to Keflavik. Air Europa A330-200 from JFK to Budapest. Aero Mexico 787 from Amsterdam to Mexico City. Delta 767 from Atlanta to Brussels. British Airways 747-400 from JFK to London Heathrow. British Airways 777-200ER from Toronto to London Gatwick. Finnair A330-300 from JFK to Helsinki. Atlas Air 747-8 from Cincinnati to Leipzig. Delta 767 from Minneapolis to London Heathrow. United 777-200 from Houston to Amsterdam. Lufthansa A340-600 from Munich to Mexico City. Norwegian 737 MAX 8 from Newsborough to Bergen. Norwegian 787 from Stockholm to New York. Aeroflot A330 from Miami to Moscow. Virgin Atlantic A330 from Atlanta to Manchester. WOW Air A321 from Baltimore to Keflavik. Air Canada Express Bombardier Dash 8100 from Quebec to Seppel Isles. Qatar 777-300ER from Chicago to Doha. Iceland Air 757 from Washington to Keflavik. Iceland Air 757 from Washington to Keflavik. WestJet 767 from Toronto to London Gatwick. Iceland Air 757 in a special livery from Newark to Keflavik. Air Transat A310 from Punta Cana to Quebec. Air Canada 777-300ER from Toronto to London Heathrow. Swiss 777-300ER from Chicago to Zurich. Delta A330 from Detroit to Amsterdam. Air Canada Express CRJ200ER from Newark to Ottawa. FedEx 777 from Memphis to Paris. FedEx 777 from Memphis to Paris. Alaska 737-800 from Seattle to JFK. Condor 767 from New Orleans to Frankfurt. Atlas Air 747-400 from Cincinnati to Bahrain. WestJet 737-700 from Calgary to Toronto. WestJet 737-700 from Toronto to Vancouver. Alitalia A330 from Toronto to Rome. Air Canada A320 from New York LaGuardia to Toronto. Delta 717 from Atlanta to Toronto. Air Canada ERJ 190 from Halifax to Toronto. FedEx MD-11 from Memphis to Toronto. FedEx MD-10 from Toronto to Indianapolis. Plus Ultra A340-300 from Toronto to Ponta de Guerrilla. Sunwings 737 MAX 8 from Montreal to Toronto. A330-200 TAP Portugal, Lisbon to Toronto. PIA 777 200 LR from Karachi to Toronto. Philippines 777-300 from Manila to Toronto. Southwest 737-800 from Denver to Boston. JetBlue A320 from Boston to Chicago. Air Canada Express ERJ175 from Montreal to Chicago. Delta Connection CRJ900 from Milwaukee to Boston. Aer Lingus A330 from Chicago to Dublin. WestJet 737-600 from London to Calgary. Allegiant A319 from Grand Rapids to Phoenix, Arizona. Delta 737-800 from Minneapolis to New York LaGuardia. Delta A320 from Minneapolis to Washington. Condor 767 from Minneapolis to Frankfurt. United 737-800 from Kansas City to Minneapolis. American 737-800 from Orange County to Chicago. Delta 737-900 from New York JFK to Portland. Spirit A320 from Minneapolis to Houston. Sun Country 737-800 from Minneapolis to JFK. Delta Connection CRJ900 from Minneapolis to Cleveland. Delta 737-900 from Minneapolis to Columbus. Delta 757 from Atlanta to Minneapolis. WestJet 737-700. And that's going to end it for today.